We got a treat for you guys today, okay? The topic is unified commerce, and it's interesting, the theme of NRF this year is all about game changers. So I have with me, I would say, two of the biggest game changers out there in retail. So we have Joe Granato, we have Shirley Gao from PACSUN. But I want to begin and talk a little about why are we doing unified commerce, right? So if I may, there are a bunch of benefits associated with unified commerce. So today we are all retailers trying to address the blue dot consumers. Honestly, they are hyper-connected, they're digitally empowered, and they are very impatient. So to win their mind share and their wallet share, you have to do this via omni-channel, and unified commerce is the holy grail. And by the way, if you guys think there is an end goal, that there's a mile marker and say, congratulations, you are now unified, that goal post keeps changing, okay? Because our consumers keep changing. For those of you with younger Gen Zs, when we talk about shopping experience for Unify, you're talking about in-store, you're talking about online, you're talking about pop-ups, you're talking about mobile app, and increasingly you're talking about social channels as well. So for those of you that have kids and say, I would die without TikTok, all right? Now, they won't die without TikTok, but they have lots of choices, Instagram, Facebook, and all kinds of things. So unified commerce means you have to know them, you have to show up and give them a delightful shopping experience. You have to really make their checkout and payment process flexible and honestly frictionless, right? And then you have to promise and fulfill correctly. So when you say you're going to get that red sweater tomorrow, you better deliver that red sweater tomorrow. And you're going to hear many of the retailers talking here today about BOPUS. You're trying to turn that online relationship into a physical relationship. When they come into the store, all kinds of magic happen, right? So you want to have that relationship, you want to build the loyalty, and then lastly, you want to serve them correctly. If you have to ask them to repeat their name, their address, their payment method when they come in to change size, to get a refund, or change the shipping address they want to receive the goods at, and if it's cumbersome, your customer service is not going to be successful. So what you see in front of you here is a research that we did recently. It's a survey. We did about 256 retail executives, and basically this is the latest prize that you get from doing commerce correctly. First, when you win today's omni-channel consumers' mindshare and wallet share, what you get is 1.5 times the lifetime value. Secondly, their AOV, they tend to spend 15% more revenue per order, and their loyalty goes up 70%. And honestly, I think this is conservative, so it's what not to like. So with that said, I want to mention the fact that we're also very realistic. We'll be on this journey for 20 years, possibly longer. If you ask Joe, he's going to go, okay, I think I've been hearing this forever. We've been talking about omni-channel, unified commerce, which is the end result for a long time. But when we ask the retailers, how well are you guys doing? They're very honest. So you're seeing here 64% say we're not there. Okay, so Joe and Shirley, please come up and join me. And we're going to talk about some of the game-changing best practices that Arc'teryx and PACSUN have been doing to make sure that unified commerce is done correctly. The consumers are delighted, so are the businesses. All right, so with that said, I'm going to go into a rapid fire, so we're going to answer questions. Let's start with, how are you guys delivering a personalized retailing and a frictionless experience in the store? So actually, do you mind, Joe, starting with that one?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with our guest. So we refer to our customer as our guest, and it starts with a principle that there's a time value proposition with our guest. So this sets the stage for how we look at how our systems talk to one another, to the experiences that we want to offer. It's all about that time value proposition. So in today's world where you've got consumers that are highly savvy, they've done their product research, they've shopped across multiple channels, they've started their journey from a digital perspective before they've come into the store, our time value proposition and the way that we look at it is that when our guests are interacting with us in the store or online with a CS, a customer service representative, our people have to be able to serve them faster when they interact with us than if the guests were to serve themselves. And that starts to set up the mindset for how we look at our unified commerce strategy and those friction points between those hard channels or from the systems architecture that sits inside of Arc'teryx.
Shirley?
I just want to share from technology point of view. So I'm a CIO, and many of you guys are either CTOs and in charge of IT operations and systems. Most of us inherited a tech stack that's not made for unified commerce, right? So your ERP, and then some of us are still use Excel for PIM, for product information management, and then you have a different commerce platforms. You have different point of sale and the price and everything, payment, everything is separated. So it is really a long journey. Then what is your low-hanging fruit? How you really provide this unified commerce? And now on top of that, and you have the challenge of how do you add on the marketplaces? We all try to develop the fulfilled by Amazon, fulfilled by yourself. And now with the social commerce with TikTok, which is fast growing TikTok shop. So the challenge is really identifying the most critical to technology improvements or transformation opportunities to provide, choose the best system, and then to unify from different point of view, like customer experience, payment, shared tokens, and a unified inventory. So you have the single point of view, either you fulfill for online or you serve the in-store retail customers. So therefore, I don't think anybody has the magic unless you start a brand new store online, offline. Otherwise, we all have to deal with years of also investment challenges. So recently with technology, with RFID added, you get to see more inventory accuracy. If you can have the luxury to have a robust systems like we use Manhattan Active Omni. We recently, after using the OMS and fulfillment for a number of years, we recently rolled out a point of sale and store inventory management. So now we have a single point of view of the accurate inventory in store in DC, which serves the retail customers and digital customers.
So Joe, I have another question for you. It was really interesting when you talk about personalized retailing, that there are two stakeholders we're talking about. Ultimately, consumer comes first. You want to do a personalized, awesome experience, but also the sales associates, right? Which we're going to have a separate conversation later about, we have a, demographics winter coming our way. You don't have as many people to work anymore. So they have to do a lot more. So you have to empower them. That's what that particular stats shows. But at the same time, maybe you can talk about the role of having sales folks in the store to be able to deliver the personalized service. How has some of your recent practices and technology adoption may have kind of helped with that level of deepening that relationship and immediacy, right?
For sure, yeah. So we talked about the time value proposition, and when guests interact with our team, we have to be able to serve them faster than if they serve themselves. And so we looked at our unified commerce strategy and said it serves two audiences. First audience, definitely the guest. Second audience is our frontline staff. So the tools that they use, and we're on MAO, Manhattan Active Omni, for our POS. And when we looked and evaluated our product, we saw how few clicks it takes to get the information to the frontline staff member in the most seamless way so that they could serve the guest in that moment. We've all worked retail on the floor, and 10 seconds with a guest is an eternity. It's enough for them to turn away, if you don't have that sense of urgency. So when we looked at how are we going to enable our success in the future? It's all based on the value not only that we provide for the guest, but our internal customers, our frontline users. We're constantly talking to them. And I've got the implementation team that worked on our implementation here when we went live with Manhattan in Q3 of last year. And they were in the stores constantly listening to our store associates, ensuring that the next versions are going to strengthen the tool that they have in the palm of their hand to serve the guest.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's move on to the next question. So inventory is the lifeblood of your business. If it's not at the right time, at the right place, if it's not sold, it's not delivered, guess what? You don't get to book revenue. So it's very important, okay? So optimizing your store fulfillment so that you can actually deliver at the speed of the consumer at the right time, at the right place, right? Lower your costs without sacrificing that customer experience. Perhaps maybe Shirley will start with you. What is PACSUN doing nowadays?
I think the key for success is really the single engine, the single source of the truth. On top of your single inventory, we also use the single fulfillment optimization engine for fulfilling PACSUN.com, PACSUN app, Instagram checkout, Amazon orders, and TikTok orders. So you have on top of that, so that single engine has the opportunity to do a real-time evaluation, including the shipping handling cost, the store labor, and the backlog of each store, the capacity, and the logistics, right? And the proximity to the customer. So with everything together, in addition to that, also there are different SLAs. For example, there are certain channels require much quicker fulfillment and certain payment type that you don't get to re-auth. So you better fulfill quicker as well. So with the flexibility of the single engine, you can quickly fine-tune it at a certain time for Black Friday, that we enlarge the queue of the store fulfillment post Black Friday versus on the Black Friday, we make it really small because we want store to focus on in-store sales. So again, I think the technology is really the enablement or the unlocker for you to be able to really leverage the entire network to provide customer a real experience. Either they want to have their digital discovery online, or they want to come to the store to engage, to try, or to take a selfie and post on social media. So those are all your opportunities.
Okay, I'm going to ask both of you the question. I'm not betting money on it or anything like that, but I will be curious what you guys think. What percentage is the right percentage to go to BOPUS versus ship direct?
I'll go first. I think BOPUS really started from pandemic. At that time, percentage was higher. Nowadays, it's going down. And for us, it's a different brand. And our customers are young, Gen Z mostly, and they love shopping. They love going to the malls, right? So we actually did the same day delivery as well. We had a demand during pandemic, but now the demand really went down dramatically. I think it really depends on the area and the customer and the merchandise. For us, the BOPUS demand, we still have it, but fairly small.
Okay. Joe, your perspective on BOPUS in terms of bringing them in?
Yeah, it's a bit of a trick question because I would say it's whatever the customer wants. And our job is to enable that through the experiences that we offer. So, I remember coming back to this NRF in 2009, we started talking about omnichannel, and you said it in your marks at the top. Unified commerce and omnichannel, and looking at breaking down the internal walls for our guests to offer the experience. This is a mountain with no top that all of us in here have to enjoy the climb while we're going through it. And so it really is listening and responding to the guest and finding out what it is that they want. We design product for our mountain athlete in the activities of snow, trail, and climb. So anytime that they've spent interacting with us means they're not out on the hill. which is why we've got to design our experiences to enable them to either pick something up at the store as they head out of town, make sure that our inventory in stock position in store is strong, so that when they do shop with us and they do give us their time physically, that we're able to meet their needs, and then obviously through the other digital experiences.
So I got a plug for Joe a little bit. I just learned this morning, because I'm a family of skiers, right? So that you have repair on site in your flagship stores. You also have cleaning and waterproofing service. I'm so in. I would do BOPUS just for that, period, regardless. So that's really awesome. Okay, so that's order fulfillment. Before we go into the next two questions, I'm gonna get audience interaction. Can I see a show of hand who is not doing unified commerce? Don't be afraid if you're not doing it. It's okay. Okay, so nobody raise your hands. I know you can't see behind your head. Everybody's doing this, right? One person? Oh, you are very special. I'll be so curious how your business model is. Okay, so it is, you have to do this. It's like being healthy, right? Depends on your age group. There are different methods to be healthy, right? But we all want to be healthy. So unified commerce is a thing, right? Okay, and it is the holy grail, by the way. It's very elusive, but the promise is great. All right, next rapid fire question. This is all about making smart decisions using analytics. And you can answer this question in all kinds of ways. It could be using analytics to do personalization better, to do order fulfillment better, to do customer service better, right? So it doesn't matter. So the world is your oyster, so go for it, Joe. Talk about that.
I mean, part of this is that even if, as you all look at your, the challenges that you have to face internally, you're going to be ahead of the pack in certain areas, you're going to be behind in others. And so one of the areas we're accelerating on is our centralized performance metrics. But what we have in our culture today is really strong qualitative feedback. And so, if I look at, our leader for the omnichannel team, fulfillment team is here, sitting here, but during the Cyber 5 Black Friday week, we had a live chat thread with our staff that were fulfilling orders back of house to try to maximize our in-the-moment decisions that we could make to fulfill more demand from the stores where we had the product without compromising the in-store experience that was happening through a peak traffic period of time. And so when we think about our performance metrics, we think about the quantitative and the data that we need to look at and the things that we need to look at centrally, but we also very much create the listing post with the folks connected to the guest, fulfilling the orders so that we can take their insights. Every time we go into the store, we've got a little, what we refer to as a command center that sits back of house, which is where we do all of our fulfillment. And the Omni team, the retail team, anyone will stand there and they'll take insights from the people fulfilling the orders on what's moving, what their experience has been like, so that we can get that back into either our product cycle to strengthen the program or to make different filter decisions around fulfillment. And we do it, basically in the moment. We're making decisions constantly and updating our point of view on things just by listening.
Cool. Shirley?
I actually have learned a lot through the past holiday fulfillment execution. Retailers, we pay a lot to acquire the customers, but it only takes probably one transaction to piss them off and push them away. So through the holidays, I think that this holiday, our business was very strong. We had customers lined up and we were able to deploy mobile device to transact. However, I guess if I ask you to raise hand, more than half of you had oversold, during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So then we have the questions such as, hey, how many of the orders that we haven't fulfilled after 7 days, right? Do you have that intelligence? We all understand that, your OMS is an operational system. And then that's not made with business intelligence. It's not easy to come up with the executive dashboard, the summary, and then through that, how do you do the next level execution? So with the orders that you haven't fulfilled in 7 days is waiting in the queue, how do you reach out to the customers? Go, hey, I'm sorry that we're still working on your order and I'm offering additional promotion or something. And then how many of the orders have bounced between your fulfillment centers that hasn't been fulfilled? That we don't know, or it's hard to find out. Analysts sit there, spend a half day, come up with Excel by end of the day, oh, it's tomorrow. How many of the orders that we took the demand, but we don't have inventory anymore because the retail customers came in and grabbed the inventory. And where are the inventory? Do we still have them in DC? Are they locked? Are they temporarily not available somewhere in the stores? If you use RFID, how can easily you find it? So I just feel like, on top of having the right technical systems connected, and then have all the devices you can sell, transact, and on top of that, it is so important to deliver your promise that you take the demand and you promise the customer you have frictionless, you have unified commerce, but the execution is really relying on the intelligence. I'm not there yet. I think I'm 80-70%. The next level is really the understanding the insight of the frictionless execution so that we can provide customer the truly unified e-commerce experience.
And can I add one thing? I think, this is where, you talk about the goalposts moving. I mean, if you are, as a customer are going to wait 5 days or 7 days for a confirmation that your shipping is coming 5-10 years into the future, that's going to be instantaneous or within minutes. And that's where the customer expectation is going to keep going. So this is where us in the room have to solve the riddle of how do we create the inventory accuracy, the confirmation in a way so that the guest gets to get their confirmation faster so they can trust that it is on the way, because other players out there are going to be leading edge in that area. And that's where I think the industry's got to really listen to those customer expectations.
Yeah.
We all want, sorry, go ahead.
And then I just want to quickly add, and the friction points are everywhere. It could be from point to point that Amazon didn't send you the order, or it could be the last mile that one of the deliveries didn't deliver. But for a customer, they don't care. They buy from the brand. At the end of the day, they didn't receive it. It's my fault, right? So really, the intelligence really means from fulfillment to the delivery to the door.
I have to say, I wear my Apple Watch until I see my average time for swim, because I do lap swimming, walking, and different things. By the way, I'm not an athlete because I broke all my knees. But until you see the data, it's kind of hard to say how well you do. And it's interesting when we talk to customers like you, and then we actually show you your ship direct or your BOPUS, what percentage is abandoned, the average time to fulfill, what percentage are you short, right? What percentage are canceled? And then you see the stats for your own store or network of stores, and then we give you the benchmark for the industry, because it so happens we sell on millions of transactions every week. It's amazing when you see the data, then you go, I'm not ready for Ironman, but I'm better than a 10K. It's never done, by the way. So, okay. All right. Last question. We have 7.5 minutes left. Hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. Okay. Here's a big one. As I mentioned, we don't have enough kids. We need to have grandchildren. I need to have grandkids, I swear to God. So, you have a population demographics coming our way. And when a store is not a store anymore, a store is a relationship hub, is a commerce hub, it is a data creation hub, it is a experience hub. Our consumers, I think we're all spoiled. When you buy something, you don't just buy anymore. You want to be educated and you want to be entertained. Okay? So no pressure, guys. All right. But big part of this is creating and delivering that great experience. And our people are indeed our greatest asset. How do we empower them so they can, in turn, happy customer with happy employees turns into happy customers? So, Joe, maybe you can start with this.
I mean, I could talk about this for days. I think, when we look at our product guides, those are the folks that you'll run into in our stores and interact with you. It's all based on product education, your experience. It's all, authentic human connection. That's why you've come into the store. We talked about how unified commerce serves two audiences and really setting them up for success to serve you. But, our development programming, from how we invest in training to our compensation model to who we attract into the brand to begin with from our core sports, all of that is really intentionally, across the entire process is really, everything's really intentionally thought about. And we know that with our core mountain athlete, maintaining credibility with them is really important to us. So the decisions that we make in hiring and how we train and set up to the experiences that we offer our internal team, we're taking them outdoors. We're product testing our product and putting it to test in outdoors in the rain. And we love doing training out in the rain. We make hard shell jackets to keep you warm and dry, and we do that through not only their training experience to give them the more confidence to speak to it on the floor, and we also have recognition programs for our staff. So we bring them to we have academies, which are hubs of learning for the mountain athlete community. We bring our teams there so that they're outside participating in our core activities, and it's something that really makes a difference as we grow and scale in both same-store sales growth, but also through door count of building this culture and scaling this culture, all based on the fact that it started from two climbers that wanted to make our brand started from two climbers that wanted to make a climbing harness that didn't suck. And so to scale that sort of ethos and mindset across all comes with the training and experiences that we offer our internal teams so that they can in turn create that experience for the guest.
I'm one of those shoppers. I just say, I want what you're wearing. I'm very lazy. The influencers in the store makes a difference. Okay, so Shirley, you have a slightly different demographic, so
Yes.
Curious what...
Yeah, two additional points to share. One is the endless aisle, or you call it save the sales. So leverage additional device and visibility. So most, at least us, we allocate very thin at the style, color, size level. In general, you probably have one or two items each store. So when the customer come to you, go, hey, I really like this, but I don't find my size. I wonder the other color. Traditionally, most of the retailer, you have to go, oh, I can help you grab another iPad. Let me log in for you, create another transaction. But now with a unified commerce system that it's one transaction, one checkout, but you can change color and size and frequently and create a digital order then ship to your home or pick up from another store. So that is really a great experience for customers. Another one is return. We haven't talked about return. I think return is part of this digital experience. A lot of customers buy online, multiple sizes, multiple colors, and bring the rest back to the store. I think this is the new norm. We have to accept that, right? So providing them a great experience in return before our associates, if the customer bring an online order, not across channel, just our online. Sometimes we have the call center, look for it. Now with the one scan, either it's an email or a delivery or the shipping list, etc. We can find it. We can return to the original payment or to store credit. And also there's a upsell opportunity, so then they can try the store again. I think it's very important to enhance the return experience. We also enabled with a third party for them either to mail in to DC or their over 9,000 locations across the country they can drop off. So when the customer shop online, they don't feel afraid of the rest of they're not stuck with it if it doesn't fit, right? If it doesn't look right. So I think that's part of the customer experience and journey for merchants to provide to the customers.
So Joe, you guys are pushing the envelope on so many things. I've never seen the runner factored into that store experience. This is all part of the whole store associate experience. Maybe you can talk a little bit more like the next step that you guys are doing to make sure that the sales associates are they know everything that's going on in the store, including the people who are running for the stuff. And
I believe that the guest doesn't really want to be left in terms of if they ask for something, you should be able to serve them right while you're with them. And so if you have to go back into the back of house and find inventory, you leave the guest. So when we talk about the experience that we're building, we want to have genuine, authentic experiences on the retail floor, but we want that seamlessness to occur in the background. So if the product that isn't available on the floor that should be and the guest wants to try it on, should arrive to them within 30 seconds. and it should arrive with them in 30 seconds for someone that's off the floor, going to run it to them, et cetera. So as we start to think of the experiences that we want to offer, that's one core experience that takes, by the way, a lot of discipline to get to, from inventory accuracy enablement to the back of house engine that has, to the staffing model that can enable that, to the tools and processes, to the one-click, not diving through multiple menus to try to get that to occur on the floor, and the discipline to create that simple experience is an example of what we're building.
So guys, when I say game changing, I actually meant it. These two are like constantly pushing the envelope, including their partner in crime here. Okay, so in closing, we are going to be hosting an Insights at Night session that we're going to go into the A through Z's of unified commerce, what the latest findings are. So it's this evening, so I don't know. I think it might be full. I don't know. But you can always scan this, try to see if you can get a seat this evening at 5 p.m. So we're going to have more opportunity to talk. That's in the middle. You can get the survey results with the first QR code. And also, we're partnering with Adyen Shop for a Cause. It's going to be in our booth. And you get to shop, you get to donate to the Retail Orphan Initiative, and we have picked education. I had no idea orphans age out at 18, and they become homeless. Sometimes they die, and sometimes they get into jail. Oh my God. So it's a very important cause, okay? So swing by our booth and shop for a cause and get to experience all the technology that we are talking about here. So we're done. Thank you so much for attending, and have a wonderful rest of the show. And thank you so much, Joe and Shirley.
Thank you for having me.